Here we are. We're back. Kamani Anku, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good. What's going on? I'm happy to be here.
Oh yeah, no, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this opportunity to speak with you today. So thank you for joining us and blessing us today with your gift. So thank you.
No problem.
Yep. And so I know you're having a good day. You always have a real positive attitude ever since I've known you. So I know you're having a blessed day.
Yeah, I try to have a positive attitude every day.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, I used to have I used to be a real negative person back in the day, but got to change your life.
No question. So come on, when I reached out to you, I was telling you about the live stream that we do. You mentioned that you had seen it. And we call it Lending with Purpose. And, we have conversations with our clients and friends and, just introductions to various forms of information and professionals like yourself and resources, right, that we use on a daily basis, things that we look for that we never knew existed or things that we want to learn more about. And so today, all my guests have done amazing jobs, but like this was a bit different. And then I remember seeing you on LinkedIn a few weeks ago and we connected, and I'm like, I hit my brain like, man, I should have been had Kamani come up here and talk to people about it, because there's all kinds of reasons, Kamani, for people purchasing homes, right? And you told me about your home ownership journey and things like that, and you without telling all your business, you're good with your mortgage. You own your house, right?
Yes. Completely done.
All right. Yeah, you're free and clear, young man too as well. So that's amazing. But I always talk about, when I talk to the clients and folks that I know, is just about sustainable home ownership, right? Like once you get in it, understand why you're getting into it, and to be able to keep it and to be able to stay with it, right?
Yes.
And so today I always try to think of a story to lead with. And today I was thinking about my family. I grew up in a small town right outside of Central Virginia. Not right outside of it, but in the heart of Central Virginia, right outside of Charlottesville, Virginia, I should say. And it's called Greene County. And so I'm a kid.
Green.
Yeah, with an E on the end. And so I'm just a kid from Greene, right? And so I think about my growing up, my grandfather and my uncle family, they always had gardens.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really like too much into that, but I didn't mind eating the food out of the garden. But necessarily working the garden, no, it wasn't necessarily my thing. But I always remember that my grandfather would say that we always had a roof over our head, we always had biscuits, and we always had food on the table. Right. And when he was talking about food on the table, he would say corn. Well, he say cone. But it was corn, right? He would always talk about the vegetables and the things that they made to eat. And so when I think of this, there's nothing, greater than me to talk about this, because it's all involved with home ownership. Like I feel good about the fact that we're helping lots of people get into homes and to be able to live and purchase a home, right? Or purchase and live in a home. But then once you get there and you have land, or even if you don't have land, you can grow your own food, right? And you can eat off of it, and it can be a sustainable situation, the home ownership and the gardening piece. And so, I just wanted to, give a quick shout out to my grandfather and specifically my uncle, because I have some really good memories from the garden and working in the cornfield and stuff like that on these big gardens and stuff. And even just the backyard stuff, just my grandmother telling me to walk outside or run outside and get a potato or whatever it might be. Those were some really good memories. And so we hope today that we can help some homeowners bring some good memories into their household through this gardening lesson. So can you, because Kamani, I'm a butcher it if I try to give you this big grand introduction.
You don't have to.
I want you to introduce yourself, because you're going to do a better job than I will. So tell us who you are, what you do, and then we're going to get into the conversation more.
Well, I'm still learning how to, stay who I am. But I'm Kimani Anku. I'm a garden coach now, specializing in, helping people start gardens and maintaining gardens and then harvesting them, and then from harvest how to cook that food or fix those dishes. So yeah, primary working here in the DMV area, trying to get as many people to start growing their own food. You know, homeowners, yes, this is a good opportunity for the homeowners now because you own your property, you can do what you want to do on your yard. You know,
And you're spending a lot of time at home now as
oh
well,
yeah, a
based on
lot of time in the house.
yeah,
You know, COVID got us all in the house. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. So like, how did you? And thanks for that. We've been knowing each other. What? How? I don't know,
for years,
20 years almost now.
probably about that much.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't told any stories about my past life as like a promoter of you know clubs and events and
Oh,
artists and things like that and bands, and that was a fun time, and we met a lot of great people back then, folks that like you and I, we don't talk all the time, but when we talk, we pick up where we left off, and
oh
so
yeah,
yeah.
those were some good times back in the day.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So how did you get started? Because that's not your background. Come on, you were in like entertainment and you're in media, and like how did you get started with the gardening piece?
So it's crazy, right? So I was about 23, 24, and I was working for this company, and I was making like 50 to 60,000 dollars a year. You know, I was living my best life. You know, going everywhere, flying out of country for the weekend, come back home. You know, chill. I ain't had nothing to do with gardening. I didn't even want to be out in the yard at that time. You know, I would get people to young kids in the neighborhood to cut the grass because I had the money. You know what I'm saying? It's like let me pay them, and then and then they pay for my school too. So my education was paid for through this job. So I was living it up. You know,
Right.
20 credit cards maxed out. You know, partying all the time, paying for friends to go out of town with me just because I had the money. You know, and then I lost my job. Woo,
Uh-oh.
woo, woo. And that was the most scariest thing ever because they done pay for my education. I'm in 401k already at a young age, you know, fully invested in that company, and then I get let go. And what do I do then? You know, and it spiraled out of control, really, and I got into a bad state of depression and wanted to commit suicide because I didn't know where to go.
Wow.
My mom was there, but she was like, start a garden. I was like, I don't start no garden. I'm gonna
Right.
be outside. She's like, trust me, start a garden. It's like, no, mom, that's not what I want to do right now. I was still doing some music, but not as much because I was in a real bad depressed state. And so she just kept egging me, and bugging me to do it. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it, but I'm just gonna grow some strawberries because that's all I like. I was eating junk food and all kinds of crazy stuff at that time. I wasn't really into a whole bunch of vegetables, even though we grew up vegan. You know, I wasn't into it. In high school, I got bullied into eating meat, and so once I ate meat, that was it for me. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up growing the strawberries, and I was like, they never gonna grow. I'm not gonna get no strawberries, and strawberries started popping up everywhere, and I was so excited. And I was like, oh my god, I gotta go to the garden. I gotta go to the garden, get my strawberries. I gotta make sure no bugs not on it, nobody's eating them. And I just fell in love with it. And then the next year came, and I was like, well, I want to grow some green peppers. I want to grow some broccoli. And every year I started adding on to it. And then my mental health, I think, just kind of just went away. And I started appreciating the garden more and more and more. And my mom was like, I told you so. I told you so.
Of course she told you. Of course. So let me ask you this then.
Mhm,
Someone say go vegan. Go vegan. So
mhm.
so you started with strawberries. So like we'll get into this piece probably later, but do you recommend people like try to start with something that they really like instead
Yeah,
of
start with something that they really like because I really love strawberries, and so
yeah,
that's what my goal was to start the strawberries. And those same strawberries, I think maybe, they've been in my yard for a while, and they're still growing. The same strawberries. I kind of dug them up now and put them in like some barrels, but
Yeah.
those same strawberries are growing in my yard. It's crazy.
So you started with one thing
Mm-hmm.
and you just add on to it.
Yeah, I just added on to it. I mean, it took me a minute, but because I had to file bankruptcy, I was really in a depressed mood. You know, the credit card companies, because I was maxed out 20 credit cards. You know, your mom said don't do the credit cards, but you go buy on her back and still do the credit cards. That's what I did. You know,
Of
in
course.
college, and the credit card companies would call me. It was like, you're not trying to get a job. I didn't work for a whole year. You know, you're not trying to get a job. Go to McDonald's. I was like, I got a career. I'm not going to McDonald's.
So
Crazy.
so then you started to grow the vegetables, and then so like how often did you like go out and water them? Like how'd you learn how to grow those particular strawberries? Like what was your process to get to
My process. I mean, I just kind of like went to the Home Depot. I think it was. It might not have been called Home Depot then. Maybe I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I remember going in. They was already starters, and so I just dug them. I got like 4 or 5 little packets of them, and then I just came and put them in the ground. And I was like, they're not going to do nothing. I didn't have no faith in it, so I didn't really have a process. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna stick them in the ground and see if they do anything. And once I start seeing them grow and get really big, and the strawberries will start pop, then that's when I start going outside the yard more and more. And I would sit and I would play music, because music is a passion of mine. I
yes.
would play music to them. I would water them. I sit there and talk to them, and like they were like a real person. Like they were like my therapist, so to speak.
So not only is it for your health, like in regards to eating right and eating
Mhm.
right, you just said mental health, that pretty much it sounds like that saved your life.
Yeah, it definitely saved my life. I didn't know it at the time,
Yeah.
but I mean, now that I'm doing this now and teaching folks now, that's when I realized it really saved my life. But at the time, I didn't realize it was saving my life, but
Yeah.
it was in hindsight.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and my mom knew it. You know, my mom is passed now, but my mom, she knew that it would change me, and
Right.
because she'd been doing this all her life, but she never really taught us how to do it until I guess I got into a bind.
Right.
So,
Right. That's crazy about purpose. We call this lending with purpose, but purpose is the reason for which things are done. And so, um, that mental health piece, your mom knew that you needed to get into this because it would put you in a different state. You
mhm,
also mentioned watering. How much water did it? I'm asking you this question is because I'm gonna pop something on the screen in a second based on
mhm,
something that one of our viewers had mentioned. But like,
mhm.
how much water do you have to contribute towards those strawberries and stuff? How much?
I mean, I'm still learning. I don't know. I'm one of those ones. I don't have no rules, so to speak. I just went out there and water, but I would water like not every day, but every other day, so to speak. And then when the rain came, I let the rain do what it do. But I don't really have like that whole knowledge of how much water it should get. I just kind of go based off the spirit.
I
I
see.
call myself a spiritual gardener. I
I see.
let the spirit tell me.
Got it. So look, I'm gonna pop this one up. Uh, it takes 16 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Concentrated animal feed operations contribute significant amounts of methane and greenhouse gas, right? And so that goes back to also a part of, some of the health reasons and things that you were talking about, but also the sustainability piece, right? It's better for the environment to have
Yeah.
gardens as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's why I was asking you about the water, because I'm surely thinking that you don't use 16 gallons of water every day
No.
to the
No.
right?
No.
Okay, got it. And
I
it's
mean, now that I'm in the game now for about 10 years now, I learned a lot of tricks and different things like that. I have like rain barrels hooked to my house now, where I water from my rain barrels. And actually, in the Maryland area, the government or the state pays you to have rain barrels in your yard. So that was a thing that I learned in my journey. And that was probably like maybe 3 years ago that you can buy a rain barrel and then water your yard from there. The first couple years when I really got into growing more food, like 40% of my own food, my water bill was a little high. And
Yeah,
then I started searching ways to cut my water bill down. And that was going like get the rain barrels as well as installing like timers on my water hose.
I see. So you said 40% of your food
Hmm.
comes from your garden.
Yes.
So like give us an idea right now what how big's your garden and what kind of vegetables and is probably big. You got your whole backyard is probably filled. Is that
No, it's not. I mean, most people think it's a huge, huge garden, but it's really not. It's actually only on one side of my house, which
yes.
is kind of crazy. But I think on one side of my house, I have two 5x3 garden beds and then two 7x3 garden beds. So, and they just lined up in a row. And that's pretty much how it is. And then I got some little pots and different things around the yard that has food in it. The front yard now has food in it. Fruit trees everywhere. And so, I have dogs and I have big living room set up in my backyard. I have a kitchen in my backyard. I have
Oh wow.
patio. I have a platform deck that I just built last year. I have a swimming pool. So there's a lot back there.
So that's your sanctuary.
Yeah, sanctuary, oasis.
Oasis. There we are. So like um you sharing this gift with people now, right?
Hmm.
When did that all come about? Gardening and beats, and then like why?
So, as you know, I always love music. So, when I was thinking about this, trying to find my purpose, you said this is lending with purpose. I figured out through that hard times that this was my purpose. This is my goal. You know what I'm saying? This is my passion. This is my life. I think God put me in that situation to find out my purpose. We all try to figure out what our purpose is, but sometimes we never know what our purpose is, until it's right in front of us. And I
Right.
was like, wow, this is it. So when the pandemic hit, my friends and family, they was calling me like, I want to start a garden because I don't have anything else to do, blah, 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 blah. And I end up getting like 13 new gardeners interested in gardening. And they started paying me. And I was like, they paying me to do this? Wow, maybe I need to make this as a business because I feel like this is my passion. And so and my purpose. So I decided one day I'm gonna make it a business, and I was like, I gotta incorporate some music, I gotta incorporate gardening, I gotta incorporate healthy eating into it. And gardening and beach just popped in my head one day, and I was like, that is it. That's what I've been searching for a while, and it just came together just like that. I work at the school garden at my job. I work in the school system. I work in that garden and I do a lot of community gardening. I was like, this is it. So Gardening Beats is my business now. Gardening Beats LLC. And that's my side hustle.
Side hustle. I got
But you said sharing my gifts. Why not? Why not share my gifts to people? We only here for a short period of time in our flesh. You know what I'm saying?
right.
In our so we need to share it. And I think some people go for a long time and they never share their gifts with people. You know what I'm saying? And then we die, and then it was like, why? We should have been giving back. And I think if you give back, um, you reward it eventually. It might not be right then and there. It might not be monetary, but eventually it will come. So yeah, why not share your gifts? You know what I'm saying? I want to spread it to everyone. I want everybody I know to have a garden or some type of garden.
All right. So then I have two more questions for you then. And then we can get into the meat of it. Then obviously in the next 10 minutes or so, I know you're always willing to share. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm gonna pay you to help us this summer because I'm excited, or this spring, I should say, because I'm really excited about doing that this year.
Hmm.
Uh, First question is, I want to know besides the mental health piece, what other benefit do you see in gardening? Number one, and then number two, I want you to end it by telling us how to get started,
How to get started? Okay.
yeah, and what the journey looks like.
So
Like,
the benefits
oh,
is definitely, mental health. You can save money, and not get a therapist. You can get in that garden, let that garden be your therapist,
right. What else though? What else? Because
And
we
then I'm drinking some beet juice right now that came from my yard. So I juice every day. You
right.
know, this help you can beat COVID, with that.
Your immune system.
Yeah, boost your immune system with that juicing every day. Then it's like exercise. You get out there, you could be exercising in the garden. If you got a really big garden, you gotta get the weeds out, you gotta dig the holes.
I never
That's
thought about that.
huh?
I never thought about that. That's
Yeah,
why
that's
I like to
physical.
work in the garden.
Yeah, that's physical work, especially if you starting fresh and you gotta plow your land or your backyard or whatever. You gotta dig up those weeds or whatever. Like I'm working with a young lady now, and I got to go over there and cut her trees down. Now that's not something that I signed up for, but then when she said she had the money to do it, then I was like, okay, then I'm set up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm gonna be cutting down trees, but yeah, like physical work, the sun. You getting vitamin D. That's one of the things with COVID. While we dealing with COVID now, like us as African Americans, we don't get enough vitamin D. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we might take the supplements, but supplements is not enough. We need to be out there physically in the sun. You know what I'm saying? Getting
Right.
that vitamin D. It saves money. That's another thing. You saving money. I don't go to the grocery store that often. I still eat chicken and fish. So that's all I primarily buy when I go to this grocery store, or something like mangoes is something that I can't grow
Right.
in my yard. I'm growing almost everything. I have peaches, I have plums, I have pears. I'm adding a nectarine and apricot tree to my yard in the next couple weeks. I have kiwi, I have pomegranates, figs.
Oh,
I got pineapples growing in the house. I even got a banana tree that fruits banana, and that's in the house as
believe-
well right now.
really?
Yep.
Oh,
What else?
wow. Wow.
Then all your leafy greens. I got all the leafy greens, collard greens, kale, lettuce, arugula. I'm into microgreens now. I got microgreens. What else? Everything you can imagine I eat now. Some stuff I never used to eat, like eggplant. I hated eggplant back in the day, but now I grow it, and that's one of the best meals that I ever make now with eggplant parmesan. I do meatballs, eggplant meatballs. I do eggplant subs, peppers, of course, peppers, tomatoes. Make my own tomato sauce now. I would never buy a jar of tomato sauce ever again in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. I know a lot of people that are listening to this can appreciate it, and especially those homeowners are not even realizing the benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked about the whole sustainability piece of it too, but financially, there's a huge benefit. It sounds like,
Oh yeah, and
yeah,
definitely like when like COVID hit, people were scared to even go to the grocery store. I
right.
didn't have to worry about that. I got go right in my backyard, and
The stuff
get
was already there.
stuff was already there.
Got
And
it.
if I wanted chicken, then yeah, I might have to go. But I skipped out for a while going to the grocery store because of COVID.
Right.
Everybody was scared. They'll go right in my backyard. You know what I'm saying?
So if you could give me a few nuggets, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready to start a garden. Um,
Mm-hmm.
no experience. I just bought my first house. Um, what would you recommend? Like, how do I get started, and what's it look like?
How to get started? First, you got to figure out what you want to grow. Like I said earlier, start with something that you're familiar with, something that you like. So when I started with strawberries. Now I'm 40% my own food. So yeah, decide what you want to grow, and then you want to choose your location where you want to grow the food at. You want a good sunny spot, whether that's backyard, front yard, balcony, patio. You might be selling condos to people. They can grow in a condo. My little stepbrother lives in a condo, and he grows just as much as food as I grow in his condo on his balcony. So yeah, you want to choose the location. Then you want to plant your garden beds. Whether you have garden beds, you can make them yourself with wood from your local hardware store, or you can buy them online. Right now, I used to have wood ones, but they all rotted out now. So I got the metal galvanized steel ones. They said they'll last a little bit longer than the wood ones. But yeah, you can get buckets, you know. Prior to building garden boxes and having that, I used to be a container grower. So I would grow in buckets because I had two dogs and they were vicious, turn up the yard, digging up everything. So I end up putting everything in the buckets, grew from buckets. Then you want to get some garden tools. You know, you need a shovel, you need a rake, you know, you need a hoe to hoe out the weeds. You know, that might sound funny. And then you want to build up your soil. You want to get your soil, and you know, you can get that from your local big box stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, or even nurseries. Maryland DMV has some really good nurseries that you can go to get some stuff. You get the soil, and then you want to get the right seeds and starter plant. So you want to really decide what food you want to grow, and then get the seeds, and then or you get, sometimes like Home Depot and the nurseries, they sell the plants already kind of started. That way you don't have to go through that whole seed journey. But I think it's good to see it that journey from a seed to a plant to your kitchen table.
Okay. And when do we start growing? Like when
And
now, right now?
right now is the time to start sowing your seeds. So sowing your seeds is basically getting some dirt, soil, get your seeds, sprinkle them in there, and then water them. Put them under a grow light, put them under a sunny window. You want to keep them inside for right now until it gets a little bit warmer, probably towards the middle of March, maybe you can start planting outside. But the time is now to get your seeds. I work part time at Home Depot, and the seeds are like flying off the shelves. They are flying off the shelf.
Wow. And then so my last question about this. I don't know what I was thinking. We moved with our backs to the woods, and I did a Google Earth, and for as far as I can see, there are no houses and stuff. And we look in our backyard, we see deer, we see foxes, we see all kinds of animals and such that go through here. And we live right in Maryland, right outside of DC, right? But how do we protect our garden from like deer and animals, and I don't know what other animals would raid your garden, but like how do you protect your garden from animals?
Well, the good thing about my garden now, and I have a 6 foot fence around my
The whole
yard. So, yeah, the whole entire yard. I have, and it took me a minute to get that, but yeah, a 6 foot fence all the way around it. And so the only thing that comes in my yard now is mostly squirrels. The
I
same,
can't afford that, man. I have to sell a bunch of more. I have to help a lot more homeowners in order to be able to afford a 6 foot yard
yeah.
whole yard.
But and then I have squirrels that come in, but I made a little garden for the squirrels so they won't mess with my stuff. I have like a little plot for them. They go there, they eat their little food, and they don't usually bother my stuff. But yeah. So I would say like, well, I'm working with a young lady now, and we actually gonna build like an enclosement in her yard for the deers because she doesn't have a 6 foot fence either. But we're gonna build some type of enclosure into her garden. Kind of like you go in, and it's probably about 6 to 5 feet high, and it's gonna be enclosed with a gate and everything. And she's willing to spend the money to do that. But I would suggest like netting, different kinds of netting to put up. There's that deer guard. Sometimes it doesn't work. But if you got a lot of space, like you said, in your backyard, I would create something right on the tip of that your yard and build it out for just for the deers and the foxes or whatever animals that might come in. And they will appreciate you.
That's smart. That's
I
very
mean,
smart.
they have to eat too. You know what I'm saying? That's how I used to look at it before I got the 6 foot fence. They would tear my yard up. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, they gotta eat too. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And this is their land for the most part.
Yeah, this is their land for the most part. So why not just set up a little area for them just to feed off?
Understood. And then so that's what Daryl Lynn that was in our live stream. She said you can plant something from them away from your garden.
Yeah, plant something away from the garden.
Okay. All right. So yeah, everyone, if you think this has been fun, which I'm having a ball.
Okay, and I just jump in real quick about that too. Again, planting something. So the birds used to come in the yard and eat up the blueberries, and I say a couple years ago, they end up eating so many blueberries out the backyard, they pooped them all in the front. So now my front yard has like billions and billions of blueberries in the front, and now they don't even bother the backyard now. I just let them eat up all the berries in the front, and then I have my berries in the back, which is cool. You know what I'm
Yeah. Oh wow, that's Jedi mind tricks. You playing chess, like
saying?
checkers with these animals. That's very smart. That's good to know. Because I'm thinking about my backyard. We could probably put something along the tree line too as well. No, thank you for that. So this has been great. This has been great. We're not quite finished yet, but I don't want to steal too much more of your time. And I just really appreciate you coming on, and those that are participating in the chat here. Just hashtag us lending with purpose. You can hashtag gardening and beats if you want, and then put even more questions in here, because I know Kimani, he's gonna watch the replay, and he can maybe come in and answer some questions. Because somebody asked you, don't answer this please, because we don't have that much time for you to do this. But somebody asked if you go get some chickens. They said, have you thought about
I want to get chickens, so I'm in this food council of PG County now,
yeah,
where I'm going to be an advocate for food justice here in the county.
yeah.
And it's I think it's against the law to have some chickens in your backyard.
Oh,
And
okay.
so but people do have them. We talked about that yesterday in a meeting.
Uh,
I'm still trying to figure it out, but I do want to get chickens, not to eat them though,
I,
just for eggs though.
I said, yeah, for the eggs.
Because
So,
I'm gonna name mine. So if I name them, I'm definitely not gonna eat Johnny or Kelly or
oh yeah, we'll help you finance a farm one day
yeah.
when you purchase
But
that.
yeah, I definitely want to do chickens. I'm still researching it. Um, I think you can have two or three, but it's been a big deal for certain people because people was getting roosters. Now that's against the law to have a rooster in your yard because they make a lot of noise.
Too much noise.
Hmm.
Got it, got it. So, how can we get in touch with you? Like, what's the best way to connect? So right now we're on LinkedIn, and
Yeah. So
we're,
the best way is my Instagram at Gardening and Beats.
mhm.
Um, that's gonna be my most fun social media site, or the one I use the most, because it is heavily video and photographs, and that's what I do. My background, my degree is in video production, and so I'm trying to make my Instagram my main stop right now. You can book me there for a garden consultation. There's my emailing list, my website. Everything is going to be there. I have some merchandise that I'm going to be selling soon. My merch will be there. Um, I'm selling this pink pineapple through tropical fruit box. That's going to be on my Instagram. Everything's going to be there. So you can find me there. And then, like I said, that goes to my website. That goes to everything.
Okay. So IG, we'll put it in the comments too as well. But
Mm-hmm.
at gardening and beats, BEATS, right?
Mm-hmm. Beats.
Gardening
Beats. Yep.
and AND beats.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, got it. So Kamani, thank you. And so, like, before I let you go, I asked this question. This whole thing has been largely about purpose anyway today for us having this conversation. But the one of the other purpose questions that I ask is around you got one person that are alive, and you get one question. Who would it be? What would you ask?
It would be playing on the Garden and Beats part. The Beats, it will be definitely Bob Marley.
Okay.
And I would ask him, how did he get the people to come together in Jamaica when they was having an uprising? I think we need a little bit more peace now in the world, in the country, especially in America. We need that peace and come together. So I would ask him, how did he do it, and what should I do to try to follow in his steps?
Wow, wow. That's that's solid. That's solid. We haven't
And,
had
and I didn't prepare for that either. You know what I'm saying?
that's good. Most like yeah, a lot of times people don't. I try to, I put it in the message to you just so that you could be prepared for it. But I like the spontaneous answers anyway.
I don't want to overthink it. So I was like, when he asked me, then it's gonna pop in my head.
Right, right, right. No, that's actually a good one because led a whole movement of peace. Um
Mm-hmm.
it helped a lot of people get right. And so I totally understand, and he's got amazing music.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. I
amazing.
mean, we changed the world, and I think if we start getting everybody to grow food, we could change the world that way. Especially our people for health reasons, as well. I dealt with a health problem at one point too, and I fixed it. I corrected by, growing my own food. That's another reason why I grew my own food is because of health reasons. And now, I have no complications. I have.
Wow, wow. Kimani, I appreciate this. This was gave me a lot of energy today. And I really appreciate you. I'll ask you to stay on for a couple more minutes after I end the live stream.
Sure.
But everyone, thank you for joining again this Thursday. And if there's anything, like I say every week, anything that we can do to help you in any way with the relationships and the people that we know and connections, we are always happy to help. Everybody try to remain as safe and as healthy as possible. And we will see everybody next week. Kamani, thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you.